250. His last fight, he was 246. But when you're as big as he is, 4 or 5 pounds one way or the other doesn't mean much. He's in good shape, and as I mentioned, training with a kid from New Zealand, Joseph Parker. And oh, look at that! Straight right hand and the left hook catches Davis right away. That'll give you an indication of the power of Andy Ruiz. It's up to 6 and 7. He gets up, but he's been tagged right away in the first round here. And remember what I told you, Ruiz has power. You get 12 knockouts. He's got this guy ready to go again. And down he goes hard. This fight's all over as he banged his head hard on the floor as Ruiz crushed one to his jaw. 2 big shots, and this thing's over.
He's 300 pounds, so he's been really working that battle against the weight and comes in at a svelte 252 tonight.
Well, he seems to come down a little bit with every fight, so he has been serious about his weight loss. Tonight he fights a guy that is bigger than him. We're usually watching him fight guys that are much smaller than he is, but Ruiz, you will see, if you haven't seen him before, while he isn't chiseled and he fights flat-footed, he is very quick-handed. I think he has 2 of the fastest hands in the heavyweight division, and people are shocked by his speed.
See him going to the body right there, working on Ken Franks. Ken Franks is a correctional officer up in Alberta, so he's got a tough job away from here. Took this fight on 5 days' notice, and give him credit, he's here.
Yeah, well, it's like he said, you know, I had a choice. Sure, it was 5 days' notice, but it was either spend the night in jail with a bunch of prisoners or go out on the river and
hang out
in Arizona on a beautiful
night. Up top, Ruiz really showing some speed there, Rich.
Yes, Frank trying to box and trying to use his own jab, but Ruiz trying to get by that jab and then unload with that speed of hand that he has. Andy Ruiz is a very intriguing prospect, I would say, Alan. He's a kid who fights very well. He's got good power, although he's finding the guys a little harder to knock out than he did early on his career. There's that speed of hand. Look how quick he unloads those punches.
8-punch combination upstairs. Ken Frank said he was going to try to box this kid, but unless you've got a really, really hard jab, which Ken doesn't have, Andy's going to get on top of you and fast. And as Rich was saying, you just saw the witness of the speed, and there's a lot behind that speed, too, when you're talking about 254 pounds behind.
He's working with Miguel Diaz in the corner tonight. He has worked a lot with Freddie Roach at the Wildcard Gym, but now he's working out in training in Las Vegas and getting a little bit more concentrated training with Miguel Diaz, although he has not cut connection with Freddie Roach. But Freddie's a little busy these days with some rather big-name stars.
Well, he has the mantle right now of trying to become the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. He has trained with a young fighter who was trying to do that as a Mexican heritage. Oh, there's the upstairs slapping around right there. The hook's coming fast and furious. I was going to say he sparred with Chris Arreola out of Riverside, and he's also been in the ring in LA with Evander Holyfield, which could teach him a thing or two. I'll tell you what. He's headhunting, Rich.
Well, one thing that he does is he takes his opponents by surprise. As he put it today, these are his words. Guys look over at him from the other corner, and they see this chubby guy who they just feel obviously is going to be a slow, chubby guy. And he goes, they're shocked by what comes at them.
Right. Closing out the first round of a heavyweight fight tonight. We'll be right back for Park, Arizona. One tough Indian. Time in. Have one tough time going 6 with Ruiz.
He wore his One Tough Indian shirt into the ring tonight. He says he's got a boxing gear line. One Tough Indian boxing gear.
He's still trying to fire that jab out there, but Andy's been having a good time coming over the top of it.
Well, he did say, Frank, that I've seen the kid fight. He's really got a lot of skill and he's fast of hand. He goes, I'm not going to walk into that. He goes, I'm not going to sit there and exchange with him. I'm going to try to keep him away. I'm going to try to box him.
Andy doing a good job at times going to the body, which I think would be although he's got a rather thick body to go through right there, but he can slow Frank down and bring his hands down if he does that and get the knockout he's anticipating tonight, I'm sure. You mentioned something to him today that his knockouts, how he started out, they're not coming as quickly as they were early on when he first started, which hasn't been that long ago. but he's having to get some extra work in. He's scheduled for 6 here.
He said he'd like to get down to about 245. It'd be a good fighting weight for him. So that's not that much further for him to go. He's never going to be a chiseled heavyweight.
It's just not the body type to even think about that. But he says he's running 4 miles in the morning and doing his sprints at 4 miles. Man, that's like a truck going down the road. And Frank stuck his head in right there, and he's paying a price. Left hand, right hand, up against the ropes, digging to the body.
Don't hold again. I'm going to put a point away.
Prison guard is staggered right now, Reg. He's staggered. He took a lot of punishment there. He doesn't have a lot of an answer right here.
No,
Ruiz knows it.
He's just trying to keep him off with his long left, but that's just not working.
No. He's just getting pounded now. Soto looking in, the referee. I think Frank's culmination's just going to fall right over. The towel's been tossed by the corner, and they're going to wave it off.
And Frank spit out his mouthpiece, so that was enough. Andy Ruiz with another victory on the way up. Very impressive youngster. Not fighting what you'd call strong competition yet, but let's face it, the heavyweight division, there's a dearth of talent right now. There's a real scarcity of... Final minute of round number 2. Arnold has done a good job to keep his feet because he's been hit hard a number of times by Ruiz. Not as sharp, Ruiz, as we saw him in the last couple of fights.
You're right. And I haven't seen the hand speed that he normally shows. He has normally shown combinations, and in this case, he's only shown like maybe 1 or 2 shots, and that's it. He's been trying to swing away for the home run, punch.
Arnold trying to keep him off with jabs. And again, Ruiz jabs to the body, and he does that a lot more than most fighters do.
Yeah, he just landed a good left hook. Oh, good right hand.
And as you notice, that jab to the body will at times put a amazing shot. And it's not a knockdown. It comes at the end of the round, and it causes a dispute and a little bit of controversy. See Arnold's corner at the end of that last round and told him he'll need to do a little better in the round 3, or else he's going to end up being stopped with the referee stopping the fight. Last few seconds punctuated by some rather frantic action as Arnold, frustrated, just pushed Ruiz into the ropes, and then Ruiz answered with a punch after the bell. But now we begin round number 3.
Yeah, for a minute there, I think Kelsey got mixed up that he was a professional boxer, not a football player, because it looked like he wanted to tackle Andy Ruiz. And Andy Ruiz, of course, responded with the fact that the referee, David, was trying to, get his attention on both of their attention, and Andy just smacked Kelsey with a good shot.
Come up.
Mendoza, the referee, telling him to keep his punches up there as Ruiz comes in again, still using that jab to the body. Now goes in flat with a flashy combination, almost loses his footing, however. Gennaro, as we watch Ruiz in action here, and unless the action gets too frantic, how would you compare him to, say, Chris Arreola, who is a heavyweight, a big puncher with similar body type?
Well, I think the hand speed that Andy Ruiz, it's a lot more better. I mean, he seems to be that he works the body a little bit more than Alex does. I don't know how his interviews would be, but that's one thing that I think that Andy Ruiz should not take in consideration. Should not listen and take advantage of. Right here,
Arnold's just about done here. He's bleeding
yeah.
badly from the nose. And if Ruiz really just looks at getting some precise punches and really hitting his target, but he's just kind of throwing. And Arnold is told by referee David Mendoza, you're going to have to fight back, but he's almost incapable of fighting back at this time. We're getting pretty well doused with blood here at the ringside.
And Kelsey's telling the referee that he's tired.
I don't think Kelsey Arnold wants any more of this. Nearly goes down from a shot to the body. And Ruiz, it's his job to just keep punching. And the referee should step in and stop the fight right now. And he does.
It was a good stoppage. It just didn't look like Kelsey had whatever he needed to win this fight. He's claiming that he got hit.
Yes, well, you know, and look, of all places we discovered him in Thackerville, Oklahoma, for his 5th professional fight.
Well, we liked him, huh?
A stirring battle and a knockout. This is a kid. He may weigh 262 pounds, but you're going to be surprised by his hand speed, which is just tremendous. And
yeah, he looked very impressive to us. And again, just starting at 6-0 against the 2-4 Francisco Diaz, who is in all black. Diaz boxing off the back foot now. Look at that hook from Ruiz. We'll see if he starts to let his hands go, but he's walking down Diaz nicely.
Diaz may have seen that telecast because he's moving away and trying to stay away from the power of Andy Ruiz.
Ruiz with a nice tight guard comes in. He's got a good sense of range. There's the hook followed right hand hook. So a 3-punch combination from a heavyweight. It's always a pleasure to see. There's 2 of them as he really lets his hands fly. Left hook, right cross.
Well, what I want to see is that right hand of Ruiz that's going to eventually catch Diaz. Because every time he throws that jab, his hand comes down towards his waistline or towards his chest.
There it is, another combination from Ruiz. And now,
who is, by the way, getting excellent tutelage at where else? The Wild Card Gym, Hollywood, California. That's become, I think, the most famous gym in the world.
Absolutely, yes.
You may have seen Freddie Roach in his corner.
How does Freddie have time for all these guys, huh? Because he lives it. Oh, nice exchange, and it was Ruiz punching first and last, and he clocks Diaz. Diaz is moving backwards. He gets clipped with a right hand now, and he's back against the ropes. With still well over a minute to go in round 1 of this heavyweight 4-rounder. Nick Charles, Rich Murata, and Gennaro Hernandez ringside with you in Anaheim, California.
That right hand must have stung him. Diaz right here because he got hurt.
Comes. Diaz not holding on. He's in trouble now, and Ruiz pushes him off. Now they're center of the ring, and Diaz looks like he could be ready to go. One more clean shot. Now Diaz will hold on, and Ruiz will break him up. I really like the way the Ruiz goes after guys.
I like his technique. He's very technical. I mean, he doesn't drop his hands like a lot of heavyweights do. You know, he's up there with his guard up, and he counters very well.
Another impressive round for Andy Ruiz in the black and gold, but it looks like Francisco Diaz will make it out of the first one. Not so fast.
He does have to beat this count.
And he looks like he's still hurt right now. Look. You look at his body, he looks like he's still kind of off balance.
Well, it was a numbing shot from Ruiz. And he does make it out, but on shaky legs.
All right, let's take a look at that action. Now you see Ruiz advancing behind the left jab, and there was that right that Gennaro Hernandez was looking and waiting for. He was hiding it behind that left jab and came through, and then later on in the round landed that left hook. One left hook, down he goes. So I'm sure you guys will agree is a real deadly combination.
Oh, it's
definitely
wonderful to see in a heavyweight, isn't it? And again, this guy's a 4-rounder right now, 6 pro fights, Andy Ruiz. We'll see what happens when he starts stretching out. But I just love the pace he fights at. He knows he had Diaz in big trouble, and Diaz is hanging on already 15 seconds into this second round. We'll look at Andy Ruiz in the black and gold. He'll set up again, and now Diaz with a little bit of offense as he paused with the jab. Boy, but his chin is hanging in the air, Gennaro. You're right.
You know, I mean, Ruiz, he's a very good, smart fighter by the looks of it. You know, he's trained very well for this fight. He sees the openings, and he wastes no time and no punches. Every punch that he's thrown so far, by the looks of it, has been pretty good and landed at least on the body.
And for you fans who are seeing Ruiz for the first time and saying, oh, but he's carrying a lot of weight. And this is his 6th professional fight, and his 7th actually, but in his first 2, he weighed in the 290s.
Yes.
So he's coming down.
Oh, that left hook.
There's that right. What a vicious right.
The left hook started it, and the right hook seems to have finished it. And Jack Reese doesn't need to count on this one as Francisco Diaz
and
takes
those
a pounding.